What happens when a game takes two completely different ideas, fast-paced action RPG combat and running a small shop, and tries to make them depend on each other for every step of your progression? That's exactly what Moonlighter 2, The Endless Vote, sets out to do. Digital Sun isn't just trying to make a bigger sequel. It's trying to evolve the entire formality, expanding both sides of the experience. The dungeons are more complex, the shopkeeping is more involved, the world is larger, and the decisions you make carry more weight than before. This isn't a game where you can ignore half of its systems. Success in combat depends on how well you manage your business. And the success of your business depends entirely on what you can survive long enough to basically bring back. After spending several hours with the early access build, it's clear that the core gameplay loop remains as addictive as ever. However, being an early access title, there are still a few areas that needs more time in the oven. So is Moonlighter 2 shaping up to be a worthy follow-up to the original? Let's break it down. Moonlighter 2 takes place after the events of the first game, but this isn't just another adventure through familiar dungeons. The world has changed in a major way, and the characters are forced to start over from scratch. What begins as a period of growing prosperity through the interdimensional Commerce Treaty quickly falls apart when a powerful force known as the Murloc takes control of the system. The dimensional network that once allowed people to travel, trade, and explore is thrown into chaos, leaving countless people stranded far from home. Well along the familiar townspeople from the original game finds himself transported into a completely different world without a way back. They have no choice but to rebuild their lives in a small settlement called Trenza. This new town becomes the center of everything you do. It's more than just a safe place to rest. It's a community that grows alongside you, with new shops, new characters, and a new opportunity opening up as you continue to progress. At the heart of the story is the Endless Vault, a mysterious series of dangerous dungeons that holds the possibility of returning home. However, reaching that goal isn't as simple as fighting your way through monsters. You must gather resources, earn money, and improve your equipment, and slowly build the strength needed to push deeper into each new area. The story itself doesn't rely on constant cutscenes or lengthy dialogue. Instead, it's basically like this. Lets the gameplay actually reinforce the narrative. Every successful dungeon runs help the town grow, and every improvement to your shop feels like another step towards rebuilding your way that was actually lost. It's a simple premise, but it works because it gives purpose to everything you do. The presentation is easily one of Moonlighter 2's biggest strengths. The original game had a charming pixel art style, but the sequel moves to a beautiful 3D presentation that still retains the series' warm, colorful personality. The result is a world that feels more alive while still preserving the identity that fans will recognize immediately. The town of Trenza is full of color, lighting, and small environmental details that makes it fully live and it's full to actually live in. The NPCs move around, shops feeling busy, and there is a constant sense that the community is slowly rebuilding itself. The dungeons provide a sharp contrast. They're darker, more mysterious, and filled with strange creatures and ancient structures that create a constant feeling of curiosity. Each monster has its own personality, making exploration feel rewarding even before you discover new loot when it comes to the biome. The animations are smooth, attacks feel satisfying, and enemy designs are both creative and easy to read during combat. The sound design also does an excellent job of supporting the experience. Weapons and packs have good weight, enemy attacks are clearly telegraphed through audio, and small details like footsteps, item pickups, and shop ambience help bring the world to life. The music is equally impressive. Quiet, relaxing tracks play while managing your store, creating a comfortable atmosphere before transitioning into a more intense orchestra themes during dungeon exploration. It never feels overbearing, but It always supports what's happening on screen. Performance on PC is genuinely very good. Throughout my time with the game, it maintained a smooth frame rate during both exploration and combat, although there were a few small performance hiccups that I'll touch on later. The gameplay continues to be the heart of the entire experience, and it's where Moonlighter 2 really starts to stand out. Just like the original, everything revolves around a loop of exploring dungeons, collecting valuable loot, returning to town, selling those items, and using your profits to become stronger. The combat has been expanded in a meaningful way. You now have access to four distinctive weapon types, including short swords, long swords, spears, and your actual fists. Each offers a different playstyle, so whether you prefer fast attacks, long reach, or heavy damage, there's something that fits your approach. Enemy encounters encourage constant movement rather than standing still. Dodging and timing attacks, learning enemy patterns, and knowing when you retreat all play a major role in survival. One of the more interesting additions is how the backpack now plays a more active role during gameplay. It no longer just a place to store items. You can use it during combat to create openings, stun enemies, and interact with certain environmental objects, adding an extra layer of strategy to each fight. Of course, none of that matters if you can't successfully manage your shop. Every item you bring back has to be priced, displayed, and sold to customers. Set your prices too high and people may walk away. Price things too low and you're still losing valuable profits that could have been used to purchase better gear or improve the town. That economic loop remains one of the most unique features in the entire action RPG genre. Very few games make combat and business management feel this interconnected. As you continue playing, you'll also unlock new upgrades, better equipment, improved tools, and additional services around town that further expand your options. It's a game that rewards both smart decision making and good combat skills, and that balance is what makes this experience so difficult to put down in a way. As strong as the foundation is, this is still an early access game, and that means there are some rough edges. Combat balance isn't quite there yet. Some weapons feel noticeably stronger than others, making certain loadouts far more effective than the rest. Movements can also feel slightly heavy during faster encounters. There were times when I wanted my character to respond just a little quicker, especially during more intense boss fights. Inventory management is still a little too restrictive. While it's clearly designed to force through decisions, there were moments where it felt like basically more frustrating than strategic, especially after longer dungeon runs. The dungeon structure is more guided than before. Some players may enjoy that, but others who prefer the more open feel of the original may find the new approach a little less exciting. From a technical standpoint, I also experienced occasional micro stutters, small visual bugs, and a few performance drops during extended play sessions. None of these issues were game breaking, but they do remind you that this is still a work in progress. The good news is that these are the types of issues that can be improved through future early access updates. Moonlighter 2 The Endless Vault is already showing a lot of promise. It takes everything that made the original unique and builds upon it with deeper combat, better progression, improved shopkeeping, and a world that feels much more alive. The core gameplay loop remains just as addictive as ever, constantly pushing you to take one more dungeon run, make one more sale, or upgrade just one more piece of equipment. While the early access build still needs more additional polish in terms of balance, inventory design, and technical performance, the foundation is incredibly strong. If the developers continue to build on what's already here, Moonlighter 2 has the potential to become one of the best action RPGs in this category. For that, I'm giving Moonlighter 2 The Endless Vault a 4 out of 5. Thank you for tuning into the best place for independent gaming journalism, and that's the gamer section. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you will never miss out on the latest reviews, previews, impressions, and everything else happening in the world of gaming. I'll see you in the next one.